Uh, Greetings everyone, it's Mar again. As you can tell from the title, it's time for another Let's Play. Considering that the Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out pretty shortly, and it might have already dropped by the time this is uploaded, who knows when I'm going to start uploading this little series, I decided, why not go back and do a Let's Play of the original Final Fantasy VII. Of course, as you can tell, I'm going to be doing the PlayStation 4 port of it. And it's been a while since I've actually played this game all the way through, probably about a decade, and that was actually my best playthrough. But this is a game I've always enjoyed. I forget exactly when it was I first played it. I think it was 98-ish. I know it was not that long after it first came out. My brother had already played through it. He had a pretty good save file. I started playing through it, and it also helped that I had the strategy guide with me. So when there would be moments where you'd have to figure out stuff like codes and whatnot, just go through that. I actually still have that strategy guide. It's seen better days, but it's still there. There's that whole thing of how to do stuff. Like I said, seen better days. The cover's gone. Some of the limit break stuff at the beginning of the book's gone, but the main meat of the guide is still there. I don't have it out right now because this is a part of the game where I'm not going to need it. Probably need it for off-camera stuff, but it is a help for certain things, like getting Yuffie, among other things. But this is the game that really got me into RPG games. Before this, I'd played, the 16-bit, the 8-bit games, the Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, Sonic, stuff like that. But this is, in all honesty, the first role-playing game I played that was turn-based and had a story like this, and also the first PlayStation game that I actually remember playing. I'm sure there were ones I played before, but this is the first one that pops to mind. And if I were to do a top 10 favorite games list, this would be on it. This would be on it. Super Mario Brothers would be on it. One of the Sonic games would be on it. Donkey Kong Country would be on it. But of the PlayStation 1 era games, this would probably be one of the ones. This would definitely be, if not the only one of a couple. I haven't actually sat down and thought of what my favorite games of all time would be. Probably put Resident Evil 2 on there as well, so those would probably be the two PlayStation 1 era games. This still looks pretty good for a 1997 graphic. I mean, a little square, but still pretty good. It's one of those things that you got to look at it through the lens of the time. There had been cinematics in games before this, but looking like this, it's like, wow. Especially for this series. This was quite a jump. You can kind of see why Square decided to go with the PlayStation instead of Nintendo. Because if you look at some of the cinematics in the Nintendo games, some of them are decent, but nothing like that I can think of. If there are any Nintendo games from the 64 era that have some good cinematics like this, let me know. Here we go, the train coming in, and the soldiers are probably thinking like, we expecting a train? You expecting a train? Oh, there they go. One gets thrown, one gets shot. There's Barrett. And there comes Cloud, doing that type of jump with a sword on his back. Come on, newcomer. And remember, Cloud, don't fuck up. A big black guy with a gun arm, let him go. Get the white guy with a sword! Ex-soldier is his name at the beginning of this game. There it is, turn-based combat. 4. And look at that, Cloud hits for 10 times the damage of a normal Shinra grunt. Oh, he hit for 1 more damage. And I hit for 1 less, but it was still enough to kill you. And that score. I know there's probably going to be times in this game where you're going to hear me humming along with the music, but it's just like the score is so... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's so good. Look, the bodies stay. It's not like Resident Evil. Alright. He's doing lookout stuff. That is true. You don't really find soldiers or ex-soldiers in a terrorist group like Avalanche. Aren't they the enemy? What's he doing here? It's called mercenary work, Jesse. I'm going to use the default names for this just to make it a bit easier. Cloud, which is kind of a weird name, but it is such a RPG protagonist name. That sentence right there sums up Cloud's attitude early on in the game. Never move in a group, they'll find us. The North Mako Reactor. As a kid, I always thought it was pronounced Mako, which I thought that was a weird name to give an energy source. Even now, I still think it's a little weird, but it kind of has that little thing with it. In case anyone's wondering, that is the Japanese pronunciation of it. Mako. It is just like the name of the great and powerful Mako of Samurai Jack and Last Airbender fame. And yes, I always like to do that voice whenever I bring up Mako. My Mako impression. In the time before time, when the oceans ran red. Alright, some more soldiers. Oh, look, one of those dogs. Look at that. The club did more damage than the machine gun. There's something wrong there. I know some people might not like the turn-based system. I don't mind it. Maybe it's because I grew up on it as well for role-playing games, but it has a charm to me. I mean, I like the newer system that the RPG games now have, but there's always something nostalgic and enjoyable about going back and playing the older style of RPG. In case you're wondering, something popped up on the computer, so I'm clicking it off just to make sure it doesn't lag. See what happened? Thing popped up and made Jesse run in place. That's what pop-ups do. They'll make the character start spazzing out. Now here's the inner part of the reactor. And there's the score change. First, kind of a stupid question to ask a former soldier. Now here it comes where he's going to start lecturing. Ah! I've been penetrated by Barrett! And here come the codes. I have a feeling that Shinra just let them get these codes. That's probably going to be one thing they'll mention in the remake. It's kind of a subtextual thing in the original game, but with how easily they get in here and the whole thing about letting the plate drop, and then of course just later on in the game using Avalanche as a scapegoat for weapons, it's like, yeah, I could see them doing that. Shinra strikes me as a company that would do that. Push the button. In Cloud, don't fuck up. Elevator ride's going to take a lot longer just for the cinematic. Yeah, that's true. That kind of sums, not to get into real world politics, that kind of sums up the attitude of some people when it comes to environmental issues right there. It's not my problem. Then something happens. Now it's my problem. Robo guards. Oh yeah. I like that he shakes his gun arm. I hope he does that in at least one scene in the remake like that. Why you oughta. Might be a bit harder since they're making his machine gun arm bigger, but that'd be nice. One thing I will mention is that I never played 8, but I did play 9. Oh, dang it, don't go back. So, just from the in-game sprites in between the two games, you can definitely tell there was an evolution just from 97 to 2000. Is that the in-game sprites are not that blocky and they're a little bit more like the sprites during the battles. A little bit more detailed, a little bit more normal proportions. Not as good as they would become with the next gen, obviously, but for the end of the gen, you can definitely see the evolution in design. And I think part of that is that I think a lot of people know that this game is quite buggy, which is why there's a lot of glitches to use. That's right, this game is infected with a game graphic glitch gremlin. It's got glitches in its britches. Alrighty. Some floating. Warning, warning. Take out the RoboGuard first. Cloud did warn about him. But he never said we got to deal with squids. The squiddly squids. Just hope Mind Flare doesn't show up. Or Cthulhu. Because you imagine Cthulhu in this game? He could be one of the weapons. Or Cthulhu is Genova's father. Those of you who've never actually seen the game probably don't know who Genova is, but most of the people watching this probably already know who Genova is. Oh yes, the whole thing where they actually mention out-of-game stuff in dialogue, where it gets a little meta. And this is as far as Jesse's going to go with us. I will say that this makes a lot more sense in the remake, how she gets stuck, considering what happens to the reactor around them. Here it just seems like she's pacing above up there and then she gets her foot stuck. I know some of my fellow fans in one of the groups I am in regarding this game on Facebook say they never saw any flirting between Cloud and Jesse, but it's subtextual. It's one of those you got to read between the lines thing. I mean, even as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old when I first played this game, probably more 9, I noticed that. That was one of the first things I noticed between their dialogue. A little bit after this, and then replaying that part, I'm like, oh, this is where it started. But more so in the later scenes with them when they're on the train the second time for the next mission, I noticed it, and I'm like, ooh, a little. It's not as obvious as, say, it is with Aerith and Cloud, and then Cloud and Tifa. But it is there. And they're probably going to make it a little bit more blatant in the remakes. I know I'm going to be bringing up something like that a lot in this, but I mean, I'm doing this playthrough as a lead into the remake being released, so that is going to be a thing. I'm going to save that. I mean, I'm almost to the spot I got to go at, so I got to save it. Because don't you think that'd be a good opening salvo against the first level boss? Nope, first save point. I think just in case I will save beforehand. I mean, I've never died against this version of this boss. But you never know. That's my other save file that I started when I first bought this version of it and then set it aside, and I never played that file again. Gonna have to change that one of these days. Oh, here we are. Let's see what this is. Ooh, restore materia. Gotta equip that. Oh yeah, I don't think I can yet. Yeah, I can't. I forgot I can't equip that until we do the little tutorial in a bit. Hunk of junk, yeah. Makes me wonder if that materia was left by a worker or if it popped up out of the bottom. Probably dropped by a worker. Shouldn't you do it? That is smart. That is smart, Barrett. Here comes Cloud's first little thing. This ain't a reactor. That's essentially his version of going, it's a trap! It's a trap! There he goes, setting the bomb. And unless we just set it. Oh, here it comes. RoboGuard time. It's like Ed 209, only it actually works. It's a giant scorpion robot. It's a weird design for a guard, but effective. Let's see how much damage I do. Ooh, not bad. Oh no. Searching. Enemies detected. Must identify. Former soldier unit identified. Adjusting strategy accordingly. Let's just see what it does. Rifle. You missed me. And of course, I probably will be doing it pretty soon. So let's just search and scope. He's still trying to identify. Identifying. Former soldier unit still identified. Locking on target. Will unleash full weaponry. Eat my tail. Let's just see if this causes it to go into that other mode real quick. Oh, it's going. Attack while its tail is up. It's going to counterattack with its laser. Look, Vegeta. It's a fire in its laser. And I'm going to wait for it to go down. And I like how it shakes when it does that too. That really... You really get the sense of peril when that happens. Might as well do some healing while I'm waiting for that tail to go down. And I like how the camera shifts too when it does that. Braver time. Here it comes, running and coming up, jumping up and down with that big old sword. Aw, that would have been a good time for him to get the bucket kicked, but alas, it's not to be. Just think about it. Again, I've played this game a couple times, but if you're looking at this, you can play this first part in less than 20 minutes in the original, whereas at least the first time through it took about an hour to get here in the remake. And there he goes. Not a bad first level boss. It shows you just how the bosses in this game get. A little bit of a taste of that. But not too difficult. 10 minutes to detonation. Normally this is how games would probably end, but this isn't Resident Evil. There we go. Let's just see how many bad guys we run into on the way up. Speak of the devil. Oh no, you don't. You little backstabbers. Kind of seems like what Shinra troops would do. Backstab. Ice, ice, baby. Those bastards lied to me. We haven't heard the victory music just yet. Oop, first level up. Take everything. Oh, let's see what I run into this time. Ooh, another one of them machines. Machine gun. Ride the lightning, baby. Ooh, one hit. Nice. It's going to take two with this guy. Alright. And there he goes. Right on schedule. 2 hits. See, she's just standing there, so she probably walked over there, was fidgeting around a bit, and then probably the attacks caused her to slip. You alright? My leg got stuck. And there he goes, pulling her leg out. Not even a thank you. No, it's me who should thank you for that purpose. Fine. Oh, dang it. Always happens at least once when I play this game. I'm out running back through that time. Dun, 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 Hey, I told you I'd be humming it every now and then. What? Oh, I guess it's 39 was too light, but 40 is just right. Either that or these guys are weaker. 14 MP. I'm almost at the top. I think now I'll do this. Running, 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 running. Now up to the elevator. Now, of course, if this was a movie thing, Jess would have been waiting at the elevator instead of going up and then sending the elevator back down. But that's game mechanics for you. Of course, if this was like some of the later games, it was like that doors close as a security measure. Makes me wonder if the codes change. You know when the doors close, just say go. Okay, I will if you just stop running into me and popping up dialogue. Run! So much for 10 minutes, because we still see another time he helps her up right there. Boom, boom. There goes Reactor 1. Power is out all over the sector. Probably someone looking up like, oh, there's a reactor. Boom! Mommy, Daddy, look! The reactor just went up. Yep. Another big explosion. And we're about to get a little comic relief moment. There's Cloud rolling like a boss. Comes Barrett like a boss, the others, and then here comes which Hopefully we get a moment like that in the remake. Let's get out of here. Got an AM screen, then meet up at the rendezvous point. Wait till we get back. Yep, ain't that like a merc. Where's my money? Where's my money? You gave me my money? Where's my money, man? Loveless. Just a random backdrop sign in the original. It became a whole thing in Crisis Core. The gift of the goddess. Everyone panicking. Yeah, let's knock over the early 20s flower girl. Yep, I'll buy one. I always buy a flower from Aerith. It's the least I can do. Then make sure she gets off screen accordingly. Alright, people running and panicking. As they are apt to do in a situation like this. Alright. Hey, you there! I'm gonna kick their butts. I mean, if you think about it, the fact that he's still dressed in a Shinra soldier outfit and just casually walking through the streets after an explosion, he is a prime suspect to ask, if for no other reason, why aren't you walking around like you're looking for someone? Or, I didn't hear from Shinra that they were sending down soldier. You know, to use a line from Battlefront 2. We weren't expecting special forces. Because something like that, even the grunts would have gotten a memo like, by the way, we're sending Soldier First Class down. Really? Eat lead. One of them was in the line of fire right there. That would be friendly fire. You keep your truncheon to yourself. You keep your ammo to yourself. A 1? Really? Really? What are you, the rookie that you only hit with a 1? I'm going to leave you for last. Sully, remember when I promised to kill you last? I lied. And there he goes. He's dead. And I'm alive, twirling my sword. I can tell you just from having a prop version of the Buster Sword that the prop alone, made of foam, is heavy. I can only imagine how heavy an actual Buster Sword would be. So the fact he's able to twirl that one arm just shows how much stronger a soldier is after they're exposed to Mako and all the weird things that they do to make him a soldier. I'm going to take care of this guy first. Oh, dang it. Oh, you go to hit me? You're dead. And you're next, buddy. Ooh, a 7. 7. Good thing you didn't hit for 777s. I'd be dead. I love this, like, alright, nowhere to go. We got him surrounded. Get him. I don't have time to mess with you guys. Grab him. I got dibs on the sword. I got dibs on his hair. Makes me wonder what he would have done if there hadn't been a train coming. Would he have just took off running into the tunnels? He's going into the tunnels after him. There they are on the train. Yeah, that's true. See Jessie there pining a little bit. But that's a more retrospect thing. At the time, it's like her being a little worried. That is true. He doesn't look like a mind reader. If you are worried, you're so screwed. What, oh, I love that. What about our money? In this moment right here. This will probably be a moment where they all draw their weapons on him in the remake. Ta-da! Hey, making a big scene is what a soldier first class does. I wonder if that's an F-bomb he's dropping. That is true. You were worried about me. I wonder how much he's gonna dock him. Is that gonna be 5 gil? That is true. Then here comes Jessie, closing the door. Pitch black. Must be from surfing on top of the train. Alright, and then I just love what's about to happen. They come onto the train and it clears. 12:23 a.m. Midgar Standard Time. Hell, no, even the punks are like, "Oh my God, here they come!" You know, you guys got to be at least a little weird if you scare off the punks. And or even the train guy's like, "I hate my job." The riffraff. The bums like, "This is my house." You're sitting next to the very calculated leader. And then here comes the conductor. "Please don't bother the other passengers." What are you going to do? Hey, move that truncheon? Map of the Midgar rail system. Let's look at it. Flashy stuff. That explains why you're going to make his next ID the way you do. Alright, here comes the train system showing how it all goes. City of Midgar. 50 meters above the ground. So it's about as tall as Godzilla. At least normal Godzilla. All the way up to level 8. Makes you wonder if they used to have names and no one remembers just how long Midgar has been around. I'd say at least probably a couple decades. Route goes around the main pillar. Probably stops at a station in each of the sectors before going down into the slums. That is some tyrannical crap right there, but considering it's a power company that runs everything, you can kind of see why. It's like, "Conglamo, we own you." Of course you look suspicious. You chase everyone else out of the cart just by walking in. Here it is. Speak of the devil. Official fake ID time. And no creeps have come out yet. See? Make it with a bang. A little extra effort. Don't have it. At least the slum doesn't have no day or night. And it's not like they're going to invest into some lights to try to give it the appearance of it. Oh, you think just because he's a soldier he's just a big dumb brute? That is a weird way to describe a city. Oh yeah, that's bound to happen when you're living under a plate polluted air. Uh-oh. That is true. Either they're broke, can't afford it, or it's like, makes me think of that line from Grapes of Wrath, where after they're getting evicted, he's like, "It might not be much land, but it's mine." That mentality. Pride goeth before the fall. There goes the train, another one of these cinematics, going around the center pillar and then down into the slums. Makes me wonder how long this train ride must be from one end to the other. There's the conductor thinking, "Oh God, thank goodness I'm about to clock out. It's midnight and I'm almost out of here." Another thing I wonder is like how people do speed runs of games like this. I mean, I can kind of see why if you skip through everything, you can get through it in the hours and all that. But whenever I play a game that's this long, I actually like to sit and enjoy it. So that's why I never try to do speed runs. I mean, like with survival horror games, I could see the appeal more because it's like just run past the enemy, save your ammo, and try to do it as fast a chance as possible. Kind of same thing with a game like this, but when it's like this, I just want to enjoy the story. Next explosion is going to be bigger than that. Are you going to use a nuke to blow it up? Tactical warhead, now that'd be cool. Punk lovers. And there's the pillar. Down to save the game. Alright, and there is Seventh Heaven. He's unleashing the lead just to kick everyone out of the bar, including appears to be a kid. What was a kid doing in the bar other than, Marlene? Because she lives there. And then Tifo runs out like, "Really, Barrett? Really?" There goes Barrett shooting people again. She's like, I'm sorry. Just hand me his gun." That's true. Ooh, that is a lot of damage. Going ahead, I'm going to make sure no one else comes to the bar.